for years I've been looking at getting boats, and I've looked into it, and I've been blagging my friend Mike. I was calling him all the way through the lockdown. Oh Mike, we need to get a boat, we need to get a boat. Hello mate. Don't put that in the film. I think one of the main benefits of actually having a boat is the fact of visibility. You can see so much more. Like now, if I was on the towpath, there's no way I'd be able to see what was on the bottom out here. In reality, you'd be missing all of this, and you can just see things that you'd miss, like just really small things, like tiny spots that have been polished, and just things that I always look at and then maybe put a bit of bait on, come back in the evening on the way back, and it gets me so excited. During lockdown, more than ever, you know, I really wanted to get a fishing boat. But in the past, it was always something that massively appealed to me, but it was, as a fizzer, it was something that massively appealed to me, but it was more of a fantasy rather than a reality. I just think the sort of this thing that comes with keeping boats is that there are a lot of hassle, and if you ever speak to anyone about, oh, what's it like having a boat, they'll be like, a lot of work. And for me, that just wasn't something I was able to get before. But 2 weeks in, I have to say, once the hard work's over, you know, for me, I had to completely renovate it, do it all up, and then get someone to tow it to London for me. And it was a lot of aggro, and to most people, it'd probably be more mired than it is actually worth. But for me, it just suits me perfectly. You know, having to move it every 2 weeks could seem quite annoying for some people, but for me it works perfectly with how I fish anyway. You know, quick overnighters, I like to move around, bait and then come back, and it's just perfect. My dad at home was going mad at me. Why have you bought a boat? It's a waste of time, you've spent money, look at all this mither getting it to London. The guy who was supposed to be driving it bailed on me twice. Oh, it was a lot of palaver, but if I'm honest, I'll do it 50 times over, because just when you're out here cruising up and down and stopping and fishing off the boat, it is a magical thing, and I don't think there's any other style of fishing that matches it. Can't even concentrate because I keep seeing things in the water every time I'm talking. If I'm honest, nothing actually happened to plan as far as getting the boat and where I actually took it, but I'm glad it worked out the way it did, because initially I was going to actually have a boat on the Thames. It was something that I'd always aspired to having, you know, like you look at pictures and videos and so forth of people fishing off the back of the boat, and it's just something that you always dream of doing, but it never becomes a reality. And when me and my partner looked at getting a houseboat, I was really, because I'd got the confidence and I thought I can actually do it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to fish on the houseboat, and me and my girlfriend went through a lot of mither arguing about it, and she just said, why don't you get another boat? And I thought it wouldn't be a bad idea, so I looked into where I could have it, and it just made sense with work and obviously performing in the fish shop and everything to have it in central London. Like, you've got so many waterways here, canals, rivers, all interlocking into like spaghetti junctions, and there's loads of fish to be caught. Like most places, but more than ever in London, it's not ideal fishing on the towpath. Like, you just wouldn't feel safe, like especially campaigning like a certain stretch, you know, for a certain fish, you wouldn't feel safe, and it puts me off a little bit. If there's anything that stops me going after one fish on the certain parts of the canals and rivers, it's just feeling safe on the bank. So having the boat here will definitely help me to go for them fish that I maybe wouldn't have been able to before. The trouble that this river does bring is obviously it's all interchanging, and it's busy all the time. Obviously, with it being in central London, zone 1 and 2, there's always a lot of boat traffic, a lot of members of public, and boats coming through, churning up the bottom, and it can be a nightmare. My dad at home was going mad at me, why have you bought a boat? Oh, it was a lot of palaver, but if I'm honest, I'll do it 50 times over. It is a magical thing, and I don't think there's any other style of fishing that matches it. That rod's going to go off any second. What was that? 5 minutes? Get in the net. Go on. Oh, the tree's stopping me net and it gets in! Yes! Carnage stations in the boat. Yes! Get it! Fish number 3.